Hey, this is JT, former Bethelite from Brooklyn. In this series, we're going to be talking about life at Bethel, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I tell you, looking back now, it is really an amazing journey. But I wanted to share it because just so many people over the years have just asked, JT, share some things that happened to you when you was at Bethel. What did you like, what you didn't like, what you saw, what you heard, what you got involved in. And so we decided to take the opportunity to share some things with you. I think for many young, especially young men in the organization, there are very, very few career opportunities. For females, there's even less. A typical female is basically given a couple of career choices. You can be a pioneer or you can be a missionary. If you're lucky, you might get married. And those are the basic career choices that it is for sisters. For a female, they look at the males and they see a few more choices. And those choices typically are such things as you can be a ministerial servant, you can be an elder, maybe a circuit overseer. At one time, you could be a district overseer before they fired all those who held those positions. And of course, you could be a missionary or you could be a Bethelite. So these were the basic career choices that young Jehovah's Witnesses like myself growing up, these were the choices that we were presented. And why? Well, anything other than that, such as going to college and having a successful career as a scientist or doctor, a lawyer, those things were so highly discouraged. So for many Jehovah's Witness young people, they just simply took those things off the table. And myself, I was encouraged. Go to Bethel. So over the years, you hear the talks that brothers give about going to Bethel. If you're a young man, go west, as it were. Circuit overseers, district overseers, assemblies. They're always talking about go to Bethel. And I knew other individuals who had went to Bethel. We had a young brother who had went to Bethel, served, and came back. And we used to be impressed with how he could tell stories about what happened and what it was like to be around the governing body and things of that nature. So it was an interest. And we also had a chance to actually visit Bethel. That's one of the reasons why the society often encourages people to put bus groups together. Because once you go and see the Watchtower's publishing, there are many facilities, it is truly impressive. And for me, at that time, we would go to the Bethel meeting that they would have at the summer conventions. And you get a chance to meet Bethelites, people who came down from Brooklyn or the farms. And you would get a chance to talk to these guys. And they would tell you about Bethel. And you would just get excited. This is where I want to go. That's where I want to go. It almost reminds you of like people going to the Marines or going into the Army. I mean, it was Jehovah's Witnesses version, as it were. For myself, you had to prepare. In order to go to Bethel, they kept telling you the same thing at all the Bethel meetings. Pioneer, the society wants regular pioneers, brothers who show they're already in the full-time service. I remember going to so many Bethel meetings each year, and there would always be somebody who would ask the question, brothers, should I go to college so when I get to Bethel I can get a job in the computer department? That was during the time when the society was developing a computer system called MEPS. MEPS is a computer system that the society started creating back in the early 80s. It was designed to assist those in translation with being able to translate the society's publication into the hundreds and hundreds of languages that they use. And so everybody wanted to get into the computer department. And so that's what we did. And by we, I mean me and two of my buddies. We graduated the same year and we started pioneering. Our goal was to get to Bethel. So while other kids were getting ready to go off to college as a Jehovah's Witness, I was looking for a part-time job so that I could pioneer. And one of the things that happens is you can't get into debt. You have to keep your debt at a minimum because that's one of the questions that they ask you on the letter of acceptance. Are you in a position to wrap up all of your debts in 30 days? And so as a result, a person who's pioneering, they're not going to buy a new car and get a loan for 7 years. None of that. They will get the little jalopy. So when it's time to go to Bethel, they can just throw it to the side and roll. So those are just some of the things that a person has to do to prepare themselves, to position themselves to be able to go to Bethel. So fortunate enough, I was able to get a little part-time job. In fact, me and my two pioneer buddies, we were able to get part-time work working at the same place. So we worked at a supermarket. It's called IGA, Independent Grocers Association. And we all worked there. And the boss, he really liked us. He knew we were three ministers because we would leave right after work with our little suits and ties on, still going out in field service. And we explained to him what we were doing. We were trying to be able to get to the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we only wanted to work part-time. Well, for him, that was the greatest thing since sliced bread, because as he said, I got 3 guys I can trust because y'all preachers, and you working part-time. Of course, working part-time meant we didn't get any benefits. And of course, that was very inexpensive for the company. So since we all graduated at 18, and at the time you can't apply to Bethel until you're 19, that's what I did. So after I started pioneering, as I was approaching my 19th birthday, we had to visit the circuit overseer. Circuit overseers always carried an application with them. So I asked the circuit overseer, I says, can I fill out the application? He says, well, fill it out and send in the day that you turn 19. And sure enough, that's what I did. Filled it out, gave it to the body of elders, and they reviewed it, and they said, we sent it off, Brother JT. We'll look forward to seeing what the society says, if they want to have you up there or not. And so every day, you go to the mailbox, weeks went by, and interestingly, 30 days later, I got an invitation saying, JT, come on up. Can you be ready to come to Bethel in 30 days? So I got on the phone, called up all my boys, man, I got my letter, man, I got my letter. It kind of would remind someone of when you see young people get their college acceptance letters. For a Jehovah's Witness who's trying to get to Bethel, young man, that's what it was like. I'm going to Bethel. And you got to keep in mind, I grew up in a small town. I mean, when I say small, I mean a small town. Our population right now in the little town I'm from is about 375 people. So for me going from that size town in North Carolina to New York City, oh my goodness, that was the life. That was going to be the life. And so now I have my letter, and at this point, I call up the elders, let them know, brother, I got accepted. And so that week at the service meeting, I remember one of the elders, he gave the announcements. Normally have minister of service give the announcement. And so when the elders walked up there, he says, I'd like to inform the congregation that Brother JT, and then he paused. And it was kind of funny because it was almost like people were like, well, did he get his fellowship or what? JT got his fellowship. But he paused, he held it for a second. Brother JT is going to Bethel, brothers. Are we not proud? Of course, big round of applause. And so it was just interesting. And this is where the journey is about to begin for me. Because then, between the time in which we are actually I'm going to go to Bethel, we have our circuit assembly. And come to find out, another young guy in my circuit, he got accepted as well. And he was going to be going to Bethel the same Friday. At the time, they always bring you in on a Friday. They fly you in, you take the bus in, or your mom and daddy drive you in, or if you can drive your own self, you get there on a Friday. Friday is typically entrance day. So we have a circuit assembly coming up. So once again, we get to the circuit assembly. The elders, they tell the circuit overseer and the district overseer, Brother JT got accepted to Bethel. And the circuit and district overseer, they called me in the back room. And they're like, yeah, I heard you going to Bethel, Brother JT. Glad you're going up there. Good thing. Good young man. Good young man. Look, need to do me a favor. I got a couple of friends up there, and they give me a whole list. And you tell Larry so-and-so, and you tell so. And because they knew all the people at Bethel. So you taking some greetings when you go up. So part of the service meeting, part of the meeting, they made a little adjustment in the meeting for the assembly because they didn't know me and the other young man was going to be accepted at Bethel. So they decided to squeeze us into part of the interview on young people and what young people are doing. And so they had us come out on the stage, right, in part of one of the parts that was on the meeting. And they had us at the end. And then when we got down to us, they said, these 2 young brothers right here, they're going to be going to Bethel this month, brothers. Are we not proud of them? And so this is the type of environment that I was a part of. Not going to college, but going to Bethel. And this is where, as I said, the journey begins. And I want to take you along on the journey that I had. And I will share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look forward to having you in my audience.
Well, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and be sure to hit that bell so that you can receive notifications when we upload new content. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video.
This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers.